Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemmon. The sun has returned and so too have the mild temperatures, but we may see some stormy weather this weekend. Let's get a first look at our local forecast for more.
Hey there, good evening to you. I'm meteorologist Pamela Gardner. This evening across Worcester, a beautiful night. We had mild air and lots of sunshine this afternoon, but this evening we fall down into the 40s and 30s. Clouding up too as changes move in, but those clouds will help to trap in some of the daytime heat we accumulated, staying near steady and even rising just a little bit overnight. That ultimate overnight low, 35 degrees, 33 degrees in Fitchburg. There could be some outlying icy spots, not quite as widespread with the black ice like what we had last night, but still it could be slick in some locations. Milder air, definitely for tomorrow though, as we get a gusty southwest wind. Our temperatures near 50 degrees across central Massachusetts, and we will continue to see a chance for a shower or two every other day, it seems like in the forecast. Milder for Friday, but also breezy and showery. Another system moves by for Sunday, bringing heavier rain. Then another system for next week. Looks interesting midweek. I'll show you the 10-day in a few minutes.
The man convicted of causing the crash killing State Trooper Thomas Clardy is sentenced today. Trooper Clardy's widow and children read statements about their loved one. Our Chandler Walsh was at today's sentencing. She joins us outside of the courthouse now with more. Chandler.
Olivia, David Jaguna was sentenced to 5 to 7 years behind bars. Inside the courtroom, Trooper Thomas Clardy's wife, Risa, and several of their 6 children gave emotional victim impact statements. The Clardy's oldest son, Tyler, took over for his sister, Gabriella, when she became too emotional to speak. The family spoke about how the death of their husband and father changed their lives. Jaguna was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, misdemeanor motor vehicle homicide, driving to endanger, and driving an uninsured vehicle last week. The Commonwealth suggested a sentencing of 10 to 12 years. Jaguna's defense attorney recommended 3.5 to 5, saying Jaguna is a hard worker and a good person who did a bad thing.
There's no question that the death of Tom Clardy was tragic. It's tragic for David Jaguna as well. There was never a question of what happened, but how it happened. That day did not end the way either one of them would have wanted.
I was 14 years old when I lost my father, and it haunts me every day. My dad was my hero. My dad made us laugh, never caring what others thought.
And even though time has passed and life moves on, there's never a moment in my day when my thoughts are not with my husband, missing him, feeling lost without him, wishing to just have another minute to tell him how much I love him.
Dozens of plainclothed officers also filled the courtroom for Jaguna's sentencing. Jaguna has already served more than 3 years in prison, so he could be left to serve 1.5 to 3.5. Outside the Worcester Courthouse, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Flavored tobacco products and plastic bags may soon be banned across Massachusetts. Last night, the state Senate voted to ban the sale of flavored vapes and cigarettes, most notably menthol cigarettes and mint tobacco. Supporters say the legislation will save lives and stop young people from smoking. Critics say part of the bill focuses on products with little or no appeal to kids. The Senate also passed a bill on plastic bags, mirroring the one already in place in several communities. It would impose a 10-cent fee on paper bags as a way to encourage shoppers to use reusable products. The demolition of a historical building is being discussed at Worcester's Historical Commission meeting tonight. Preservation Worcester says it's one of the last of its kind, but the property manager says it's unsafe. Our Matt Restaino is outside of the historic David Richards house now. He joins us with more. Matt.
That's right, Olivia. This house is one of the oldest buildings in the city, and it has a unique architectural style. However, it was heavily damaged in a fire 2 years ago, and it has been empty ever since. The Worcester Historical Commission is deciding the fate of the historic David Richards house on 5 Richard Street. Current owners Gold Star Builders want to take it down. Property manager John Frasolo says the building is condemned.
We've been told by the fire department and by the building department that no one is allowed inside because of the unsafe situation.
The house is on Preservation Worcester's most endangered structures list. It dates back to the late 1700s. Executive Director Deborah Packard says it's one of the city's last examples of federal-style architecture.
We have very, very few buildings of that type in the city, so it's considered significant.
The structure was damaged by a fire in the fall of 2017. Packard says she would like to see it be restored.
When you go there, you can see the evidence of the fire. We'd love to see that repaired. The interior, whatever could be salvaged, would be great, but right now our interest would be the exterior of the building.
The building has been empty since the fire. Frasolo says the damage has opened the house to the elements, causing the structure to deteriorate.
There's a huge hole in the roof that, the weather continues to make this building even more deplorable shape, so it's in the best interest to take it down.
The house is across the street from the Goddard School of Science and Technology. Frasolo says it's a safety issue for everyone in the neighborhood.
It is an eyesore to the neighborhood. It is a public safety issue. We don't want any kids or anybody to go inside.
If the commission gives the go-ahead for the demolition, Gold Star say they will take down the house as soon as possible. It would be replaced with a new residential building. In Worcester, Matt Restaino, Worcester News Tonight.
A new program is set to increase the amount of renewable energy electric customers in Worcester will use. The Worcester Community Choice Electricity Aggregation Program will use the buying power of the city to get residents and businesses a better rate. The city says it will also use at least double the amount of green electricity. The program sets a fixed rate, so the city says it protects consumers against spikes in prices. Residents are automatically entered into the program but can opt out.
For the vast majority of folks, you won't even notice it. But for the few who want to opt out, that option is available to you, and there's a bunch of ways you can do it. You can call, you can go on the website and opt out, or you can fill out the form that came with your letter and send it in.
The aggregation program starts in February. People will notice the change in their bill in March. Two brothers donate close to 1,000 books to the Worcester School where their mother spent decades as a teacher. Stephen and Andrew Levy are donating the books in memory of their mother, Sina Levy. She taught second grade reading at the Rice Square School for almost 30 years. Stephen stopped by the school Thursday to visit where his mom spent a lot of her time.
It's very, very exciting for all of us and our entire family. Our entire family has contributed to the effort, and most of them are school teachers or librarians. Everyone is excited about supporting reading in Rice Square School.
We want the students to love reading, not just not as just an assignment of what they need to do. That we want them to love it, and these books are going to get the kids to really love reading.
The books will be used as part of the school's book club and will benefit the 500 students at the school. Two cancer survivors are on a mission to give socks to children with cancer. The socks are custom made in hopes of making children smile. They stopped by UMass Memorial Children's Medical Center today. Our Valerie Bell has more.
Children battling cancer don't have an easy journey. Jake Teitelbaum knows firsthand. He is a pediatric cancer survivor. He remembers being cold and uncomfortable.
It really stood out to me that every time you're admitted, you're given your tacky gown and your beige non-slip socks.
Lexi Corian had a similar experience when she battled non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
If you spend any amount of time in the hospital, everything's really scary.
3 years ago, Jake founded Resilience Gives, and Lexi hopped on board. Now they're on a national toe-to-toe tour. For every pair of socks they sell, they give a pair to a child fighting cancer.
Some for you too. Thank you.
I think it's special to go in to a room and interact with a parent who can look across the room and see a young adult survivor and say, hey, my kid can get there, right? There's light at the end of the tunnel.
The socks are soft, mix-matched, and have the non-slip grip on the bottom. Each pair comes with a picture of the child who designed the sock.
All of our designs are from children who have been battling cancer, so they each have a little story associated with the animal that they picked. So Naaman helped us with those ones, and he spent a lot of time in the hospital. Yeah, that's Naaman.
To know that someone else stood in those socks and created something from their experience that is now positively impacting others.
Lexi and Jake have handed out more than 3,000 pairs of socks and don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Their sock drop at UMass Memorial Children's Medical Center is just one stop on their journey of setting up pop-up stores around the country.
It really restores your faith in humanity to see so many people wanting to contribute to your mission and contribute it to such a great cause.
And a nice pair of socks goes a long way, literally. Next, they will be traveling to Delaware and North Carolina, where they will sell their socks at hospitals in that area and give them to those children. Reporting in the studio, Valerie Bell, Worcester News Tonight.